Hi, everyone. Hi, Marilyn. Hi, Texas. Good to see you. Adrian. I'm not sure who else is here, but I've seen a comment from Adrian. So, hi, dear. Hi, everyone. Let me know if the sound is okay. I'm having two mics because actually the second mic is going to go to someone else today, but I'll keep you posted. Anyway, I'll probably just put it here. Hi. Hi, Natalie. Hi, dear. Say hi to Gar, but please don't wake him up. I know he's bored to death with my tour, so he'll just easily sleep on the tour. Thank you, Natalie. Hi, Christine. Good to see you, dear. Thank you. Okay, so where am I and what kind of tour is it going to be? Interesting, challenging, full of surprises, and definitely one off. Well, the thing is that Rustaveli Avenue, the main transport artery of Tbilisi, of the capital of the country, is undergoing a massive reconstruction. They're fixing the sewage system, the wiring, and everything. So they're basically doing the renovations that actually had to be made couple years ago, but they only got round to it now. Which means, let me show you the street. Well, we'll go out soon, but first, let's see that. Which means that the entire avenue is totally blocked for cars. People can walk, but with challenges, I would say. But it also means that, let me show you over there. Hi, Sarah, good to see you. But it also means that if they are digging, they, you know, come across interesting stuff, some archaeology, and a lot of surprises. So this tour is going to be about that. And it's a very hot day, actually. It's 32 centigrade today. Please feel free to convert to Fahrenheit, but it's probably around 90 Fahrenheit, around that. I don't want to embarrass myself, but I think that's something like that. Well, that's quite hot. But we have been lucky because, well, it means me and actually Misha. We have been given permission to start the live stream here at a wine place. And it's not just a restaurant, it's not just a bar. It's a bar located in a former apartment of this 1915 mansion. Believe it or not. Look who's here. I don't know this guy. he was just sitting here when I came. But let me show you where we are from the outside. I'm going to need a minute to find the best photo for you. Wait a sec. So that's... Okay, there you go. Just a second. Yeah, well, for example, I'll show you just this photograph. You are in this house. This house has been featured so many times on my live streams. And for some reason, I have never been inside until today. And this house was built by this Armenian merchant, Alexander Melik Azarans. And this house has always been an absolute gem of Tbilisi and mainly Rustaveli Avenue. But it has become even more precious because of recent findings. If you follow me on my socials, and most of you are, well, have a look. We are now looking at the backside, at the courtyard of Melik Azaryan's house. Don't worry, we are going to go outside. We're going to look at the building from all angles, but from here, from this restaurant, well, wine place, the place is called Buddha Curry. Well, you can see it at its best because as you can see, there is, well, it's not really accessible. Yeah, I know. But wait, there is something more. There is a lot more. In the meantime, also, take a look. You are inside a building constructed in 1915. Hello. Obviously, don't expect to see a lot of interiors, but at least a little bit of this, a little bit of that is still here. I'm so grateful to the management that have allowed me to live stream from here. Hi, dears. And you know what I absolutely did not expect to see is this fireplace over here. It must be a historic one. Like I don't see a reason why they would bring some other fireplace here. And just in case you forgot, you are at a wine place. So there you go. I'm not sure if the fireplace is functioning, but it looks like it. Hi, Paddock. And have a look over here. Okay, I hope you won't get dizzy. I'm actually not a big fan of heights, but this is absolutely worth it. Have a look. It was discovered like 3 weeks ago. The workers simply took off the first layer of the concrete, and that's what they discovered. This was just the parking lot and the backyard of this house. From here we have the best view possible, so we absolutely had to jump on this opportunity to take it to this restaurant to get a permission to stream from here, because this grants you the best possible view. And also we get to see a little bit of the stained glass that's left there. Some of them must be new, but the smaller ones over there must be original. Well, I'm not 100% sure. Also, this is definitely original. 1915. So this house from the outside looks like a superb Art Nouveau mansion, and it actually was one of the most top-notch, cutting-edge buildings. It had all the imaginable facilities. It even had its own power station. It had gorgeous apartments. It had electricity. It had an elevator. It had a garden, a theater, wine cellars, and also different businesses and stores on the ground floor, and wine cellars. So 3 weeks ago, it was discovered by the workers, and it immediately became a sensation. Every blogger, every traveler absolutely had to come here, and obviously a lot of legends came up. Yes, it is amazing. I know. This is amazing. I know. That's crazy. I'm going to zoom in as well so you could see a little bit more here and there. And a lot of crazy legends immediately were brought up, as if there is an underground town that was built in the Middle Ages, and now it has resurfaced. This is the silliest legend I've ever heard with regards to Tbilisi, because it's not. These are just the parts of the building that were known to everyone. So the local historians, local guides, those that stick to facts and quality content rather than myths and legends, well, they knew of these rooms. And they also knew that these rooms, these passages, and the really, I would say, unique structures were hidden in the late Soviet period, and also remained hidden throughout the 90s and all the entire post-Soviet period. So we're going to find out why they were closed. We're going to find out why this house has so many legends built around it. And I think we just have one more look from here. I think it looks absolutely epic. There are 2 levels of the underground floors, 2 levels. And just also this structure. Why is it like this? Why it's just a system of arches? That's also challenging. But I guess once we are out, we'll find out more. But just update me on the chat. So hopefully I am back. I know we had a little glitch when I was switching the rooms, but I guess so. This house had all the imaginable facilities available at that time, but it didn't have a Wi-Fi back then, and probably the walls are too thick, and sometimes the signal really changes. But okay, so Buddha Curry is the name of the restaurant. Well, Helen, I already mentioned that the entire Rustaveli Avenue is undergoing this massive reconstruction, and I guess a lot of well, the sewage system obviously is connected to a lot of buildings, and they also had to go under this site for some reason. I guess I'm not sure why they specifically wanted to dig there, but I guess so. This house is very big, and it takes the whole quarter. Actually, we'll see it once we are outside because we're heading out very soon. So I guess this is the reason, and good for them, good for us, I guess. So thank you for asking. Okay, just for you to see that we are at a wine place, and look, this is this gigantic room. I'm not going inside. I don't think I'm supposed to enter, but I want you to see this. So now you see you are at a wine place. Look at this, Vinothèque. The French word, right? Wine shop, in case you forgot where you are. And again, so the entire avenue actually looks like that. We're going to walk a little bit of the avenue, but you know, it's not only just that was discovered. So basically all the streets around it have been turned into one big parking lot. And have a look at this table. Isn't it amazing? Well, beautiful place with beautiful interiors and a good wine. We're gonna ask Misha if he enjoyed his wine, but also, I mean, have a look at that. Actually, you know, I didn't notice it. I only see this now. Amazing, amazing interiors. Just these huge glass jars. So one more look. Because, well, I can't guarantee that we will be able to enter another location to see these catacombs. So once again, let's have a look. I know this is amazing, breathtaking, and the camera doesn't really do it justice. But you see the stairs, and you see how deep it goes. And I guess they just needed to get to the bottom of it, to all the communications, to all the wires, to the pipes and sewage. So I guess that's why they are digging. One more look at the fireplace as well. Oop. And let's head outside. So I'm not sure if this phone is attached to anything though. Let's give it a try. Let's see if Alexander Melikazarans will pick it up. Hello. Can I talk to Mr. Melikazarans, please? Not available. Fortunately, Alexander Melikazarans, so the merchant that built this house, well, to whose commission the house was built, didn't end up very well. But, well, we'll talk about it. Okay, so let me put on my backpack. And obviously we're going to see the lobby. So we are going out. Misha, are you ready? And Misha's gonna be helping me today. You can have the mic. And the question is, let's just check if you can hear Misha. Can you say something?
I can say something about Melikazarans.
Hold on, just tell me about the wine first. Did you like the wine?
Yes, I like both wines. As a matter of fact, the first one was the Georgian typical wine made in Qvevri in a traditional pot.
We're going to see some queries on our way,
Oh,
by
really?
the way.
Yes, which was Tsvani Manavi, green Manavi. And the next one was Aligote, which was a European one, which is also I enjoyed. But the previous one, Tsvani Manavi, was more original.
Okay, so just in case, that's the name of the place, Buddha Curry. Let's go. I also like the disco ball over there. That's a nice one. Yay. Okay, so many thanks to this place. So let's get outside to the heat. Okay. And immediately we find ourselves in the lobby of this gorgeous Art Nouveau building, which we're going to see outside. I expect to see a lot of decorations. There are no frescoes on the walls, and there's no information whether they have been here at any point or whether they were here at any point. But we have the beautiful railings and the quevers. So this is a traditional Georgian clay pot in which wine is fermented and stored at the first stages, and that's the place. Okay, well, this quever is huge. We're not here for the query, but we're going to be talking about some other kinds of pottery that were discovered. These are new ones, but we're going to talk about some discoveries, and I'm going to show you some photos. They're a bit dusty. Okay, let's head outside. And it's going to be dirty, dusty, noisy, because I wasn't joking. Some of the original tiles, Metla tiles, a little bit. I wasn't joking. This is one big construction site. I've never done a tour in conditions like this, never. And I just want to make sure that the connection is okay. I had a minor glitch. Just let me know. Look at this gorgeous doors while we're here. I think just looking at the doors, one could tell, oh yeah, this is a special house. So I'm gonna wait for a sec to hear from you on the chat, if we can go on, because unfortunately, it's only you that can help me understand whether I'm live. All good, thank you. And you can hear Misha well, that's fantastic. My chat seems to be lagging a little bit. So you see? This is absolutely crazy. It's noisy, it's dirty, dusty, not very much fun to walk. Thank you so much everyone for your updates. And imagine how this must have affected the businesses. Where like this place used to be always absolutely full with people, but looks like it's working. All the businesses are still operating, but it's not easy. We're now actually walking on what used to be and will be in a couple of months from now will be one of the busiest roads in the city. Now it's only the delivery guys that walk around here. Just in case you forgot, over there, this monument is to Rustaveli, the famous poet, the writer, who was also a diplomat and a politician. The diplomat represented Georgia also in the Holy Land. Yes, it is huge. Rustaveli, the author of the famous poem, Night in the Hunter's Skin. So just in case, I want to show you a few things before we start moving. So that's the house. We're going to go that way so you could see it from a distance to also understand the scale of the problem. But before that, there is something I'd like to show you on this side. I will just need a minute to walk around. And yes, this is McDonald's. I don't think McDonald's has been affected much. Obviously, all the roads around Rustaveli are now pretty busy, and it's only going to get worse because, now August, people are away, kids not going to school, but it's going to change very soon. Look at that, what they have discovered over there. So Rustaveli Avenue as a street, an avenue, it's only emerged in the middle of the 19th century. Let's say 1930s, it already had a status of a big street, of a big avenue. Let me zoom in for here. They obviously had a different name, but it actually had this function of the extension of the city. And it's Natalie, thank you so much for your tips. Thank you, dear. I just got the PayPal. Look at that. So obviously it underwent a lot of reconstructions, it has underwent a lot of restorations and reconstructions over the course of this almost 200 years. But what we're looking at is a collector's pipe. Huge collector's pipe from the 19th century. Since I won't be going this road, I would just absolutely have to show it to you from this angle. This is epic. Look. I know my chat is lagging a little bit. So now I'm going, since we are focusing first and foremost on the house of Nelly Kazaryan's, we need to go that way to see the building from the outside. But, so who was Nelly Kazaryan? Misha, can you tell the story of Nelly Kazaryan, who he was?
Nelly Kazaryan was from a wealthy family from Karabakh.
Armenia back then?
Well,
he was
between Armenia and Azerbaijan,
yeah.
And he was from Armenian descendants. And Alexander Melek Kazaryan was geologist originally, and he was specialized in copper mines and
he owned several copper
and granite
mines.
Quarries.
Quarries.
That's how he earned his millions, and he became one of the wealthiest Armenians here in Tbilisi. Well, not only in Tbilisi, he lived between different cities, also in Baku, in Azerbaijan, and he had a daughter, so only daughter, and he lived. He owned this house in 1910s, but then the Bolsheviks came, and he moved to his daughter's place in Tololaki, in the typical place of Armenians where he died in 1920s.
Yes, Tololaki, well, which I'm sure many of you remember, was up until, let's say, mid-20th century, mid-Soviet period, it was, I would say, predominantly inhabited by Armenians. There was also a Jewish quarter, but it was kind of in the border between the old city and Sololaki.
So this house, this block of flats, was the most progressive, the most advanced at those times in 1910s, because it had independent water supply, independent electricity. It had photo laboratory, inner garden, and some theater and some restaurants and cabaret and other entertaining, which was very top-notch 1950s, 1910s, but from 1915 it was born, but it was built. It became in the middle of the World War I, then the Civil War, and finally the Bolsheviks came, and suddenly this.
Okay, they'll just let this big truck go somewhere. I told you it would be loud. I told you. I warned you about that. So while Misha carries on with the story, I'm going to show you once again the photo taken approximately from the same point where I'm standing now. And some 3 months ago, even 2 months ago, I wouldn't have been able to be standing on this spot because it was just part of the road. But here we are, and it looks like we're gonna have to be moving that direction. We're gonna be completely filled with the dust.
So this block of flats was built in the Art Nouveau style, with the garlands, with some bouquets of flowers.
Yeah, it has all the beautiful designs, all these floral patterns.
And bas reliefs, and stone upper blocks with rustics, and everything was also well, it was fortified with the lead with the lead construction in the underground in order to avoid the underground waters.
Well, let me rephrase it. Here, well, Tbilisi is a city that is located, built on the mountains, in between the mountains, on the hills, and now we are looking at the same sewer collector from a different angle. So it's now going exactly under us, underneath our feet, and that's probably why they had to go to the backyard and dig there, because they probably needed to fix the pipes there as well. And because of this uneven terrain, there was actually a big ditch behind the building. Well, there wasn't really much opportunity, to build a big house unless all the advanced technologies would be used, such as, well, lead fortified metal constructions, which were available at that time already. This is like catacombs. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. It's like looks a bit like a war zone, actually. But okay, let us know. My chat seems to be lagging, and it just keeps showing messages from like 4 minutes ago. So I'll just hang out here for a while and see what we have and if the stream is on. In the meantime, I'm going to be showing you some details. Oh, I don't even remember looking at this house from this point. Look at this gorgeous bas reliefs. Look at all these designs that Misha was just talking about. It's good. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. It's good to know that we're here. Look at all these garlands, flower bouquets, chains, smooth lines. And yeah, this house was absolutely amazing. And that's exactly what Misha was saying. In order to build such a gigantic building, which goes all the way to there, and we're going to go around it, just for you to see that how big area this house occupied. Also along the way, we're going to see pieces of the old, some stones from the old paving. Clearly, some more pipes. Sorry, there's a lot going on. This must be the isolation for wiring, right? For all the wires, for all the electric system over here. That's what I think, at least. And actually, hold on a second. Let me check something. А где там был вход? Где был вход?
Какой был вход?
Еще был какой-то вход, мы входили.
Не знаю.
There was one entrance. Is it open? Do you know if it's open?
Maybe there.
Oh yeah, it's over there. Let's just try
If it's
some.
open.
Let's check. Because if it is, we need to use that opportunity. But I'm not sure. Just imagine all these people living here. They are not happy with the noise. I guess they weren't happy either way. They are not happy because, well, imagine back in the days it was all the transport, and now it's just the noise, the construction noise. Yay. Okay, that's good. So I'm going to be talking quietly because the people who live here, they absolutely hate tourists that are now rush to this house because everyone wants to see the excavations. We have more tiles here. Absolutely great. And wow. Well, to get into another lobby to see this. Let us know if we are back. Sorry for having to nudge you so many times, but that's the most reliable way to understand the timeline. So I'm gonna zoom see. And as Misha was saying, there the terrain was uneven, the landscape was really challenging. And in order to fortify the base for the building, they had to employ not only just reinforced metal constructions, metal ribs, but also the system of different chambers. And we don't know. It's a good question whether they are going to restore it, whether they're going to keep it open, what they're going to do. We don't know. I bet that nobody knows. It was only uncovered about 3 weeks ago. Nobody really knows what to do with it, I'm pretty sure. So, but here, Velika Zagans, we know it because we have the blueprints. There are blueprints available. So Velika Zagans actually, there was a theater, there was even a summer garden. Well, the theater was on the basement, right? The theater was in the basement, and then on top of it, like it was an underground floor, there was a restaurant, there was a theater, there was wine cellars, and then above it, there was a garden, and there was even a summer cinema. Imagine, summer cinema. It's crazy. That's the law. Not really much going on here. So let's walk around. We are now leaving the place. Let's have a zoom. Let's have a selfie. Can you move a little bit? Could you please take a selfie for us? Let's go. And we'll continue. So it's let's move on. Because it's a good question what they're going to do with it and if they're going to restore it. No idea. So now I have another was covered up until the revolution and up until the Soviet period, basically. Just don't close it. Keep it lightly, okay? Up until the Soviet period, it wasn't all known to everyone. This area was accessible. A lot of businesses used to be here on the ground floor, you know, the usual way. But during the Soviet period, especially after the Second World War, the Bolsheviks even tried to take down the building. They wanted to destroy it. But the building was so well built and it had very firm ribs. And you know what, the engineers, the Soviet engineers realized that in order to destroy this massive building, they would have to use dynamite, and it would have most likely affected the buildings around it. And this is the main avenue. Look at this. Misha, what is this building?
This building was originally being built for the coal department of the Ministry of Industry.
It was built for the coal department?
Coal
department, okay.
Coal department. But then, when it was built, its premises were being reshaped for the Academy of Science of Georgian Soviet Socialist Republic. And from 1980, it only remains as a part of the Academy of Science. This building was built in the Stalin Empire style, but when it was finally built in 1955, Stalin Empire style was announced as old-fashioned
and excessive,
and the architects had problems with it because because they spent too much money on the tufo stone and its luxurious tower.
Yes, so imagine taking down this building would have affected this one, and it was a major no-no. Some currency rates, by the way.
This building was built using the national ornaments from the traditional Georgian churches and fortresses, and the Soviet Stalin Empire style.
Yeah, so it's like a quiet resistance, quiet architectural resistance, I would say, between some sort of a compromise between the Soviet, which tried to completely eradicate everything national, everything Georgian, and wanted to unify everything, and the architects decided to oppose this, at least by employing some national motifs in some of the elements. We'll take a look at that door, for example, and also over there, this type of decorations. You see this round shape, things that kind of jet out, stand out a little bit. These are typical ornaments that you can find on Georgian churches. So obviously the architect didn't tell the Soviet officials about that. Now we are going this way. We need to go to the back of the Meli Kazaryan's building. So as I said, everyone knew of the restaurants, hope they won't damage other buildings. Oh, yeah, yes, Vlasta. Well, I hope it won't affect the neighboring buildings, and I'm happy that the Bolsheviks hadn't taken down Meli Kazaryan's building. All of us are happy. This is where we were, approximately somewhere there, and also over there. There's a huge, it all used to be part of the premises, all of it. And from here as well, the building still continues up until there. So it was a huge territory. Imagine a theater, restaurant, wine cellar, and then on top of it, garden, summer cinema, a lot, really a lot. But in the Soviet times, this was no longer needed. And well, right now, there is the so-called Republic Square. Which is a nice square. It's overlooking the Kura River, and it's giving you the panoramic view of Tbilisi. Normally there would be a lot of cars, and this would be pretty busy street, but now it's empty. Plus it's a Sunday, plus it's August, so many people are away, and I dread to think what it's going to look like in 2 weeks. By the way, that's the Biltmore Hotel, that tower over there. I might have mentioned on some of my tours that actually Biltmore Hotel was was the first high-rise building in Tbilisi. That's in early 2000s. Rustaveli Avenue goes all the way there, and now we don't see the balconies of Meli Kazaryan's house anymore because of this construction that emerged here, well, I don't know, maybe a decade ago or something like that. But it's not for that those corridors, underground passages and tunnels were closed. It's not about that. It's because of this impressive construction. Have a look. Imagine that this, well, I specifically drew your attention to the Academy of Sciences building. You can see it's towering over the entire city. And right behind this arch construction is Meli Kazaryan's house. And these platforms are actually covering the courtyards and the backside of the Meli Kazaryan's house. So
And I will tell you why.
Yeah, why?
Because during the parades in the Soviet times, the Meli Kazaryan's yard was full of the laundry, of the wet laundry that was placed on the ropes, and so it wasn't very picturesque to go along in a parade, in a military parade, and the communist parade near to the wet laundry. So that's why they decided to block it, to cover it somehow with the tribunes, and so those tribunes.
And can you see this photograph? There is a Lenin's head over here, and also can you see the menorahs? Misha, do you see the menorahs?
No.
over here.
No,
These are almost menorahs. Okay, almost.
those are waves.
Yeah, but of course, I know, because but they look very much like menorahs. They're just missing one candle, but like very much like menorahs. I was thinking, is it a menorah or something else? And they just basically they used to be waves, but the locals came up with a much more fun version of the name. They would say that this is the ears of Andropov, and this is Yuri Andropov himself. He was the Secretary General of the Communist Party after Brezhnev. And so why do you think, Misha, they came up with a silly name like Ears of Andropov?
Well, officially they say that those constructions, those waves, look
That's
like
his ears.
like his ears. But that was another metaphor, that the ears. Andropov had been the boss, the chief of KGB from 1966 to 1982. So he was associated with the secret police, and they were. And there was wire everywhere. Everywhere there were eavesdropping. So that's why, even here in Georgia, far from Moscow, and probably that was one of the ideas and artistic images of what it was. And Saakashvili, the president of Georgia in 2000s, knew about this nickname, and he didn't like those tribunes, so he ordered to demolish them. And after him, this construction with the restaurant was built.
Yeah, so another photograph that I'm showing you is just one of the parades with a lot of red. That's clearly still the Soviet period. So thanks to Saakashvili, those ears of Andropov were removed. And the square started looking like this also during Saakashvili. This gigantic bicycle statue was placed here. Do you know why, Misha?
Nobody knows why.
Yeah.
It's a French sculptor's work of 2010s that symbolizes the healthy lifestyle. But we don't understand why its steering wheel is.
It has two steering wheels that face in each other.
Yes,
and also the two seats that face each other. Like, this type of bike is not going anywhere. This is a very bad metaphor. It's like a dead end. Come on.
Yes, it's like two different political parties that one political party go to one direction and another one to the another direction. That's what I think. With its versatile politics here in Georgia in 2010s, maybe that was the idea, but we're not sure. I haven't found any other plausible explanation
Exactly.
of this.
It doesn't make sense, but there has to be. Maybe we're digging too deep. No idea. But look, this is the another side. Well, that's the first wing actually of Melik Azaryan's building.
Also, there is a legend about this block of flats.
Yeah.
The legend is that in 1910s.
In the meantime, I'm going to be showing some details of the house.
In 1910s, the intellectuals, young intellectuals, and the writers got together in this block of flats, in one of the apartments. And they came up with an idea to rename the main streets, the Golavinsky Avenue, into the name of Rustaveli.
Oh yeah.
Because
what I forgot to say is that in the imperial times, before the revolution, the avenue was actually called Golavinsky Avenue. It was named after a governor general appointed by the empire. And hold on a second.
Evgeny Golovin.
Yes, his name was Evgeny Golovin, but there is, I wanted to show you some photographs of what Golovinsky Avenue looked like. It already, well, this is the photograph from definitely the late 19th century. You can see the cobblestones, and once in a while we could see them, and we would see them during these excavations.
So they came up with a prank, and they decided to come to the streets of Galavinsky Avenue and they started to congratulate all the passers-by with the new name of Shata Rustaveli.
On the rename avenue? Oh.
Because they kept with it in this same apartment. And people were so enthusiastic about it because they didn't want to have their main avenue named after some former Russian general
from the 19th century.
Of 19th century, and they started congratulating, and they and there was
the idea.
And there was a group of people that got together in order to thank the Mary, the state council, Mary,
the city hall,
the city hall members, with that brilliant idea to rename it. And when the big group of people came to thank them, they couldn't say no, we didn't do it.
Okay, that's a legend or it's a true story?
I don't know, but everybody likes to tell it without telling if it was true or not.
Yeah, just there is a legend. Again, as I like to say, you just can't spoil a good story with facts. Yeah, well, I think it works. Yes, there are a lot of silly legends. That's true, and people like silly legends. Let's go over there to see a bit more of the construction, a bit more of the digs, and more dust. Like, I'm not dusted enough. I want to be dusted more. Whew. Oh my goodness.
Show those griffins.
Yeah, these griffins are also part of the Melik Azaran's building. There are a lot of griffins in Tbilisi. Why do you think it's here, Misha?
I think it's here because it's a part of the former tribune.
You think so?
I think so.
I think they are older. They
are older, but they're standing on the tribune.
Yes, so maybe they were brought from somewhere. Not sure, but it makes me think of another legend. Griffins usually, in many cultures, they are associated with, let's say, what they seen as guards. And one of the silly legends about this house consists in the story that, Melik Azarans allegedly had hidden all his wealth in the cellars somewhere in the basement of this building, and then these griffons could be hiding and could be guarding the wealth. There are a lot of silly legends because this house was so big and bizarre. Look at that. So no wonder so many legends would circulate around the building. Some people claim that in order to build this majestic and gigantic building, they would even add wine to the concrete.
By the way, you can show this last address.
Oh yeah, this last address. Okay. What does it say? Konstantin Kandreli, engineer, used to live in this house. He was arrested in 1937. I'm not surprised. Okay, he was executed in 1939 and rehabilitated in 1956. There are not so many of these plaques in Tbilisi, and unfortunately there are fewer and fewer of them now in Russia.
There are a lot of them throughout the former Soviet Union, and this is the last address campaign that is that was organized by the Russian human rights activists, those who want to rehabilitate those people who were forgotten, who were falsely accused, and this is very important to repeat it once again, that this one of them lived here.
Yes, so whenever I can, I always show these last address plaques. And another silly legend, well, not a silly one, but it does seem quite plausible. So some people claim that Meli Kazaryan's what is the legend about Meli Kazaryan's, Misha?
Well, the legend was that his daughter died when she was young, and he dedicated this house to her, and that's how there are funeral bouquets, funeral
Wreaths.
garlands, but
Over
it turns
there,
over
for
there.
example, you see these wreaths.
Wreaths,
They they kind of looking downward, or like over there, for example, because normally the wreaths would be over there. No, hold on, where is that? Yeah, over there. So normally they would be looking upward, but for some reason it's the opposite direction. So they would say this is because because Meli Kasarans was mourning his daughter. However, his daughter was okay, but it was his wife who died really early, prematurely. But again, there's no indication whether this house was a dedication to his wife. However,
Also, there is one only interesting thing here on the memorial plaque.
just a sec. I wanted to show you this building. We passed by this house so many times, and you may remember that this actually used to be a church at some point, Russian Orthodox Church. And I found some more photographs to share with you, like this one, or this one. There you go. And needless to say that during the Soviet period, this church was partly destroyed because they were short of housing. They just simply decided to rob it of its domes and whatnot, and turned it into what was it? What was it during the Soviet period? The church.
What was?
They turned it into what? Do you remember?
They turned it into just a building for the states.
Some municipality.
Some offices,
Mm-hmm.
some house, some flats. So nothing special. But
And
the main idea was that it was built in the Russian in the Russian style.
Because it was a Russian Orthodox Church.
It
of
was
course.
Russian Orthodox Church
That's why it was so important to, in the Bolshevik period, to place another Lenin's monument.
No, it wasn't another Lenin's monument. It was the first Lenin's
Yes,
monument.
the first one, exactly.
Maybe ever.
In Georgia.
Maybe ever. Everywhere. Anywhere.
Anywhere
In the world. Do you know why? Because
No.
it was 1921. He was not only alive, but he was only
right.
active. He was active, and he didn't like it. He didn't like it, and it wasn't
Who
his.
didn't like what?
Lenin didn't like the cult of his
Himself?
personality of himself, but the Georgian Bolsheviks were so grateful to him that they got the power. So they made a bust made of plaster, and it lasted a couple of years only. But it was the only one, and the street that is over there, like a couple of half a kilometer from here, was named after Lenin.
Yeah, all that direction. What did you want to say?
I want to say that every building in the Rustaveli Avenue has ceramic plaques with the quotes of the panther of the knight in the panther skin in Georgian and in Old English. So because this poem, not only an epic poem, but also a miscellany of wisdom for the Georgians, and not only Georgians. And there are some proverbs, there are some sayings, and I will show it one of them. And everyone has different tile at the right.
Let's zoom it in.
And let's zoom it in. I despise the man who is shameless, false, and treacherous.
Exactly. And the tiles were made by the students of the Academy of Arts. That is basically around the corner.
Yes,
just
like-
over there.
Like-
Exactly.
400 meters from here,
Yeah,
something like that.
it's something like that. And just a few more things that I wanted to share about the Rustaveli Avenue, since there's not really far
Olive
we
tree.
can go. No, I just wanted to show you the photographs of the recent findings that were made over the course of the reconstruction. And these are not my photographs, I didn't personally see them, but why not sharing? So they discovered about a week ago, they discovered some pieces of pottery, actually in a pretty good condition. It's like a solid piece. It's in one piece. And this one's pretty good condition. So approximately, tentatively, it's somewhat 1,000 years ago. 10th or 11th century old pottery found. And this is, by the way, the cobblestones from the 19th century. Isn't it crazy? They're digging really deep. Not just a meter, they have to go really deep. Let's
So
move.
it's about an Arabic time, something like that.
Well, yeah, the thing is that obviously here, well, again, the avenue as it is, we know from the mid 19th century, well, 1830s. However, the road itself is known for many centuries. This is one of the roads that would connect Tbilisi Old City, which is all the way there, with other location, and it's just part of one of the gateways from Tbilisi to other areas of Georgia. But it didn't look like that, obviously. So the big development came at the times already of the Russian Empire. Let me find some good spots. Yeah, actually, I think this is where we could wrap it up with the olive tree. If we can access it, we probably can. I think there's a little passage over there. So I think, yeah, we can share the story of the olive tree. In this chaos, I think we could use a little bit of peace.
Because we haven't seen
by
it so
by the
close.
olive tree. Yeah, exactly. So that's why we need to come closer. We just need to find somehow get to the olive tree. That's just it. Okay, wish us luck. Hopefully I won't stumble or knock into something else. This is crazy, guys. Look. And the entire avenue all the way to the Liberty Square looks like that. But at least now the City Hall and Parliament can sigh out with relief, because definitely no protests are going to be held here. At least no protests. What can I say? So, and up until now, we have not been able to access the olive tree. Misha, could you share the story?
Well, not much story. The main idea, like during one of the visits, the Patriarch of Georgian Orthodox Church, Ilya II, was visiting.
Late Ilya II.
Was visiting in the Israel in 2008, if I'm not mistaken, and the Israeli government gave this very old olive tree to the Georgian state as a symbol of the very old partnership between the Georgian and Jewish nations, given that according to the chronicles from the 6th century before Christ, the first Jews came to the land of now known as Georgia, and since then 26th century of friendship were celebrated in 2014.
Yeah, so there is 26 centuries of friendship between, well, let's say Jews and Georgians. And we see here a lot of national motifs, we see a lot of grapes, we see...
And olives.
Yeah, of course we see olives, you've seen the pomegranates and olives, yes, they're still They're still here. Nobody really picks them up, unfortunately. Well, maybe now they will. At least, why not? And speaking of olives, and speaking, I think now has just dropped. So, in speaking of olives and speaking of Israel, actually tonight I'm taking you to Israel again, to the Kidron Valley and to the Mount of Olives. How convenient, right? So I absolutely had to jump on this to promote my tour. And we're going to be exploring the importance of the Kidron Valley and the Mount of Olives for the three monotheistic religions. And also, Misha's going to be giving a talk about the children's literature during the so-called stagnation period, 1970s and early 1980s. And my mom is going to be joining us for a bit. She's very camera shy. Well, I mean, she's not really shy being in the camera, but talking on the camera is not that easy. But since I already announced that there's no turning back, so my mom is going to just pluck up her courage and join us. So she's going to be sharing a little bit of her memories of those times and what kind of books she loved. And we're going to be talking about all that. Let us know if you have any questions. In the meantime, let's walk a little bit more. Anyway, we need to get out of here somehow to one of the neighboring streets to get the car. And I should definitely bring my mom here because this is a one-off experience for her to walk exactly along the Rustaveli Avenue, which is 24/7, usually busy with cars and full of traffic jams. That's crazy. That's just... So somewhere not far from here were these 1,000-year-old pots discovered. And speaking of pottery, oh my goodness. And speaking of pottery, if you missed our yesterday's live stream, the pottery workshop with my mom and Grisha, you absolutely have to check it out. And I also shared a little reel on my Instagram about that, just some of the highlights. Thank you, Misha, for joining me. I think this is just the perfect place to wrap it up. Oh my goodness, what's wrong with my hair? It looks so lovely. It looks so gorgeous. The pottery workshop was fun to watch. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you so much, everyone. So, my dear friends, thank you for joining us. It's been fun, and it's also been a huge luck that we've been given permission to stream from that bar, which is located in the apartment of the famous Melik Kazaran's house. Again, since I don't know what's going to happen to the catacombs under the Melik Kazaran's building, I can't promise that we'll be able to see it again. If it will be available, most likely not. Such an interesting tour. Let me see the comments. Let me just go through the comments because they seem to be lagging more than usual. Because yeah, usually we usually have this lagging, but about 30 seconds or so. But now I think it's about a minute. It could be just on my end, could be on YouTube. I have no idea. But you know what? I'm not afraid that I'm going to be knocked by a car. So nice. My hand are full. My legs, my toes are full of dust. I feel also a little bit of this dusty taste on my tongue. I think it's in my ears, in my hand, in my nose, but I'm loving it because we've got to see so much, and we had some exclusive access to see a little bit more of the catacombs, right? Thanks to the restaurant Buddha Curry, and we even accessed the lobby, even though locals hate it, but there was no one there, so we were kind of lucky. Let me go over the chat once more in case I missed out on some of the comments. Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you, Marilyn. You're always so supportive. Thank you for your constant support. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you, Barbara. In the light of that explanation, those may have been just menorah stages. Well, Barbara, well, obviously they couldn't have been menorahs because, well, those menorahs had only 6 branches, but menorahs should have 7 at least. Right? I mean, ordinary menorahs should have 7, but they looked a lot like menorahs. I'm looking for the chat if I missed anything. Okay, so looks like this is it. My dear friends, if you feel like supporting us, if you feel like donating, that would be incredible. You can do that by either leaving us a PayPal donation or buying us a coffee. The link is over there, the pinned comment on the chat on the top of your screen. Thank you so much for joining us. We're gonna take some more selfies in this war zone. He just had 2 glasses of wine, by the way, so that's why. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.